Sri Lanka has declared a state of emergency. Things are going from bad to worse. The entire cabinet has resigned today. All 26 ministers, all of them have quit. Let me show you how the people of Sri Lanka responded. Now, these images are from today. Protesters gathered near Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa's house. They were greeted with water cannons. The Prime Minister has not resigned. Neither has his brother, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. They're both clinging on to power, a last roll of the dice. The Rajapaksas have reached out to the opposition. They've called for what they call a unity government. What does it mean? Is this even a serious offer? Do they stand a chance at surviving in office? And what next for Sri Lanka? On Gravitas tonight, we'll discuss all of this and more. First, the updates. It's been an action-packed weekend. Last week, we saw massive protests against the Rajapaksas in Sri Lanka. An angry crowd tried to storm the president's house. There was a crackdown. The government declared an emergency. Several cities were put under curfew. Social media was banned. All of it backfired, fueled the anger on the streets. People defied the curfew. The protests grew. At some places, they turned violent. Those pictures were from yesterday. They show how public anger against the Rajapaksas is growing. So today they attempted a face saver. The entire Sri Lankan cabinet resigned, all 26 ministers. And this list includes key family members like Basil Rajapaksa, the finance minister of Sri Lanka, and a brother of Gotabaya and Mahinda Rajapaksa, the president and the prime minister. Then we have Namal Rajapaksa, Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs. He's the son of Mahinda Rajapaksa, also the presumed heir of this political dynasty. He's facing public anger too. Protesters tore down a poster of Namal Rajapaksa. Earlier today, reports said Namal Rajapaksa's wife has left Sri Lanka along with her parents. Now, we've not been able to independently verify any of this, but there is no doubt that the situation is precarious. The people of Sri Lanka are angry with the Rajapaksas, and the brothers are unable to get a grip on the situation. Our correspondent in Colombo, Dasuni Athauda, sent us a ground report just a short while back.
Seeing right now is history in the making here in Sri Lanka, as hundreds of thousands, if not millions of citizens have now taken to the streets in various parts of Sri Lanka to voice their dissent and disapproval against the current government, which is led by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, for leading this entire country into the worst economic crisis in the history of this country. Now, as the protests continue to gather momentum in various continues to lose a stronghold in Parliament, with many ministers and state ministers now tendering in their resignations due to a strong opposition given by the people here in Sri Lanka.
The cabinet resignations are being called a farce because the top leadership has not resigned. Gotabaya and Mahinda still remain in office. They've made an offer to the opposition. They say they want to form a unity government. But how genuine is this offer? And I'll tell you why this question is being asked. The cabinet resignations come into effect only when the president accepts them. That is a procedure. They must go to the president and he must accept them. But that's not happened yet. The ministers have not submitted their resignations to the president. They went to Mahinda Rajapaksa instead, the prime minister. It was the prime minister who got the resignation letters, not the president, which raises the question, is this just a stunt? Were the Rajapaksas serious about changing the entire cabinet? Or was it a ploy just to get the protesters to cool down? Increasingly, this mass resignation is looking like a stunt. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has already named a new finance minister. His name is Ali Sabri. Earlier, he was the Justice Minister. Now he's been shifted to the Finance Ministry. And this is just one example. Previous ministers of Foreign Affairs, Education and Highways have been reinstated, or retained rather. So this is this little more than a cosmetic exercise? That's what the people are asking. They're venting their anger both on social media and on the streets. The opposition has rejected the idea of a unity government. And I have a statement with me. This is from Sajid Premadasa, the leader of the opposition. This is what he says. We want resignations, and then we want a political model that works. A new Sri Lanka will begin with stronger institutions and not just a change in leadership. An interim government is nothing but internal party politics.
Sri Lanka is not a dictatorship. This is a democracy, and we will fight for the rights of the people, and we will fight to protect democracy in our motherland.
It's not just the lawmakers, even the cricketers of Sri Lanka have joined the protests. They have issued statements slamming the Rajapaksas. And I must say here, the Rajapaksas are not politically weak. Let me underline that point. They command a two-thirds majority in parliament. They control all the levers of power in Sri Lanka. Their crisis is very different. What they now must do is justify their grip on power. They face a public uprising. Under their watch, Sri Lanka has suffered 13-hour-long power cuts every day, shortage of petrol and diesel, shortage of life-saving medicines and food. The crisis has brewed for weeks before exploding. The Rajapaksas have lost popular support. The cabinet reshuffle can at best delay the consequences. It may not be able to avert the inevitable. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.